Hey folks, it's Brian with Rain Gear Pro, and I'm really pleased to be sitting here with Bill Challenger from Cannon Bar. Had the great opportunity of meeting you just a couple of weeks ago down at West Coast Soft.
That's right. It was a great show there.
And yeah, and really appreciate the fact that, we can sit down and just learn a bit more about you and your business. And
Sure.
because I'm an old guy and you're not, I put together some questions so I could
Yeah.
actually remember what I'm supposed to ask.
You just remember to respect your elders.
Yeah, I think you got 4 years on me. so, that's great. And we're out here in Langley at Bill's place of business, and why don't we just I was I did a bunch of research on you because I had to figure out who you were and all that, and but I do know that you marked 51 years in the chainsaw business at the end of 2025, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's right.
And from falling and right of way work to running saws and running Challenger chainsaw services. What first got you into this trade? Like, how did you break into this market?
Well, I dropped out of university after 4 months in 1969, uh, and I went and got a job working in the bush with a company called Molesbury. He was a right-of-way contractor. We did a little bit of everything, and then they decided that they'd break me in falling. So I did that for a while. But I came to realize, even though it was really good money, every Monday I was broke. Uh, and so I decided to go back to school. I went to BCIT and graduated in June of 1973.
Yeah.
And had a couple of other jobs, but ended up working for the home light distributor, selling chainsaws. Um, I was there until 1979, and I had been at a golf tournament on Vancouver Island with the Crown Zellerback guys.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the vice president of logging, his name was Frank Lucy, he was griping at me about how come I was selling their guys so many chainsaws. And I said, well, quite frankly, you guys don't know how to look after them. And, we were all in our cups a little bit at that point, and told him that he should be leasing his chainsaws like he did pickup trucks, full maintenance. Well, one thing led to another, and on Tuesday, Frank phoned me and he said, hey, Billy, that idea of renting chainsaws seemed to make sense. Who would do that? So I told him, I gave him the name of some rental yards, but they weren't interested in doing it. So then he asked me to come to a meeting, and we did. And he said, well, why don't you go to the home light guys and see if they'll do it? So I put together a business plan. I presented it to my boss. His name was Bill Pearson. And he thought that was just about the dumbest idea that he'd ever heard, and told me, listen, you're a salesman, get back out there and sell chainsaws.
Oh,
So I went back to Crown Zellerback and told them it was a no-go.
yeah.
And they said, well, then why don't you do it? And I said, well, you guys have seen the business plan. It needed $85,000 worth of capital to start this up. And I haven't got $85,000 worth of capital. I got a wife and two young kids and a brand new mortgage. And Frank and Ed Burton and Jim Rayner, all these head guys at Crown Zellerback said, yeah, you do have it. And they loaned me the money to start my own business.
Fantastic.
So that's how I got into the chainsaw thing. Leasing, it swept the industry all up and down Vancouver Island and the Charlottes and the coast. And at our peak, which was in about 1991 or 92, we had about 2,300 chainsaws in our fleet, 19 different camps with 19 different mechanics, all looking after. And we were all IWA union guys, and it went really well. And one thing led to another, and it sort of segues into, we were the largest Canon customer using Canon bars, and they lasted 3 or 4 times longer than the Oregon or Windsor or anybody else's bars. So anyway, in 1997, Ernie Cannon had sold the business to a couple of employees. unfortunately, they weren't able to make a go of it. And I didn't want to lose access to Canon. They had unfortunately gone into receivership, so I bought the assets used to make the bars from the receiver, and we started Canon Bar Works in '97.
So what about the rental business that you had on the side as well?
We continued to do that. So there was Challenger Chainsaw Services and Canon Bar Works, and we did both of them. But what happened to the industry is that the whole concept, and Keto was the first one, introduced mechanized falling machines, dangle heads we called them, or processors. And that concept simply swept through the industry. So, I mean, every year it was almost as if 10% of the fallers as they retired were never replaced. And today, I would venture to say that probably 80%, maybe even more, of all the timber felled in British Columbia is done by mechanized harvesters. So the demand for leasing chainsaws disappeared. But what was left a number of years ago, we sold Challenger Chainsaw Services to Walker's Saw Shop out in Nanaimo, and they took over the few camps that were left where we had resident mechanics.
Yeah. Where the big trees were left.
Yeah, where the big trees were left and on very steep ground.
Yeah.
And even since that time, steep ground harvesting has become more popular with the, with the specialized winches that they can handle the machines on very steep ground. So, yeah.
I guess some of that stuff too is helicopter logging with old growth stuff.
Yeah, there's still some helicopter logging with old growth. We sell a lot of really extra long bars to various companies like Vancouver Island Forest and Marine for ripping those big logs into sizes that the helicopters can pick them up.
So just so folks know, how long is the longest bar that folks use?
Well, typically for a one-man bar, it's 84 inches is the longest that we make, and they're used almost exclusively for ripping. And we make 6-footers, 5-footers, 4-footers. The longest that a faller would use these days is typically not much longer than 36 inches.
Yeah.
And it depends. I mean, for example, on the East Coast, 24s and 28s are very popular. Out here in Washington, Oregon, and BC, it's 32s and 36s.
Wow. Quite a story if you kind of progressed from where you started to where you ended up.
Yeah. And it's we've enjoyed every minute of it. There's been some great years. There's been some tough ones. We're going through a bit of a tough patch right now with British Columbia's forest industry. And without getting too political, government policy sure hasn't helped our industry.
No. Both north and south.
That's right.
We'll talk about that in one in a second.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So one of the things that I've also researched was you kind of grew from like 3 employees and 3,600 square feet to 12,000 square foot plant, shipping worldwide.
Yep.
Canon bars.
Yeah.
After you purchased that. What were some of the key things that you did to expand to the global market?
Well, we knew that the demand for handheld chainsaws, and don't get me wrong, we do sell harvester bars for mechanical equipment as well, and that's a bigger portion than it used to be. But we knew that the demand for forest-related chainsaw bars, or chainsaw bars used in harvesting timber, was going to diminish. But we also knew that we had a tremendous reputation for a quality product, but our market was really just British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, California, Pacific Northwest, and BC. We did very little business elsewhere. So we thought, well, let's expand into other market segments and other markets that use chainsaw bars, but not for forestry. So we we went after the tree service business, the arborists. So we developed a product called the Super Mini, which is a smaller, narrower kerf bar that the tree climbers can use. We went after the carving bar market, so fellows who do carvings like that. And that's become a very big part of our market, and that is worldwide. There are chainsaw carvers in Europe, Australia, you name it, they're everywhere. Rescue bars used by fire departments for cutting venting holes in roofs. Milling bars for cutting live edge slabs, which has been very popular over the last number of years. So we expanded into, we tried to diversify into other applications. Package cutting bars is another one for cutting bundles of lumber. So we expanded into those markets, and then we have an independent agency, Mosier International is their name, and they represent our on a independent basis. They represent us to all of European countries and Australia and New Zealand, and just recently they've started to represent for us in North America as well. So they've done a great job at diversifying market, and to the point now where only 21% of our business is actually in Canada, about 40% is in the United States, and the balance is in Europe, mostly in Northern Europe and Australia and New Zealand.
That's fantastic, Bill. I mean, to be able to expand, was it difficult to actually make that move, or was Moser really the sort of the catalyst to help you expand? Or
no, we had people from Europe in particular coming to us because of the reputation of quality. Logasol is one of our best customers, and they came to us. Also, people came to us because we were one of the few people left making really long bars. So as the demand for slabbing bars and ripping bars grew, people searched us out. But it was much better to have a presence in Europe. So Mosier International, they've probably quadrupled our business in Europe over the past, since 2016, I think, in the last 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So with your bars that you make and the manufacturing of those, there's other folks that manufacture bars.
Oh yeah.
But people really are they like the bars that you're making. And what's the differentiation?
Well, the differences, it really starts with the steel. We're fortunate to have a relationship with a mill in Germany that will make small lots of steel for us to my formula, my recipe. So they put in the amount of chrome and the amount of molybdenum into the steel that I asked them to do. So the steel has got more spring-like effect to it, and it's got better wear resistance. Now, to give you an idea, at their peak, I believe Oregon made about 14 million chainsaw bars a year. When they made 14 million, we made 14,000.
Yeah.
You know, we're very specialized at what we do. Our bars will outlast mass-produced bars sometimes 5 or 6 to 1, but they're expensive. The upfront price you pay is certainly sometimes double what a mass-produced bar would be, but it's easy math if it lasts 4 or 5 times as long. But it takes a particular kind of value-conscious professional operator to recognize that. We sell very few bars to homeowners. You know, the guy who's going to cut 1 cord of wood a year, you know, a can of bars, he's going to be able to gift it to his grandchildren. You know, so they're likely, you know, the OEM bar that comes with their saw, it might not be of high quality, but it's good enough for cutting 1 cord of wood a year.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, for sure. Wow.
Yeah.
So when you know, that was one of the questions I had was, you know, Canon competes on quality rather than cheaper mass-produced products.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just sort of talked about
Yeah.
that. Now, when you advertise that, how is it just through word of mouth that you give people that information, or how do you actually bring that message forward?
Word of mouth is huge,
Yeah.
and word of mouth is much more powerful than it was prior to the internet. I mean, one of the biggest things that's happened to our industry is the internet takes you around the world. Uh, so social media, managed by Kate Media, uh, you know, we have followers on our website from literally South Africa to South Korea,
Really?
everywhere. So when we get testimonials, we put them on our social media sites, on our website. So
Hmm.
that's word of mouth advertising, but
Hmm.
it's easy to get that word out, especially if it's positive. But you also have to remember that bad news travels a lot faster than good news does. So we have to make sure. I mean, our logo was the best bar none. We got to make sure that that's not bullshit. You know,
Yeah, for sure.
so we do everything we can to maintain that very high level of quality. Our bars are, as you'll see when I give you a tour of the shop. Um, we do an awful lot of things to our bars that the mass producers simply don't do.
Hmm.
Um, and it's all to provide the highest quality, longest lasting product that we can get out there for the individuals.
Interesting. So when you talk about that type of quality, it also requires sort of the customer service level to be
Oh yeah,
extremely high.
yeah. I think we're the only one. I can't swear to this, but we have an unlimited lifetime warranty on our product against defects in workmanship or material. I'm not saying you can't break it,
Yeah, yeah,
and eventually you will wear it out.
yeah.
But we stand behind our, as long as for the original buyer of a bar, if a defect shows up 5 years after they've had it, then we'll replace it or
That's
repair it.
great customer
Yeah,
service.
yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
Wow. You named three big surprises in the research that I did on you: mechanized harvesting, the internet, and labor shortages. And you talked a little bit about whether if you could expand, you would require more personnel.
Yeah.
How has that affected you in terms of the growth of
Well,
Cannon Bar?
a couple of things. Because labor, especially from 2019 through to 2023, labor became very, very difficult to find, especially um, young people who wanted to learn a craft that requires a great deal of physical effort. It's hard work making bars. It's heavy work making bars. Um, it's loud out there. It can be dusty at times. It's a metalworking shop type of environment, and I'm not exactly sure why, but young people didn't show any interest in that kind of factory work.
Hmm.
Um, I think they all kind of somehow had an idea that they could make money sitting in front of a computer. Uh, um,
Yeah.
and I'm sure some of them do very well at that, but it was very difficult. So as a result of that, we automated a lot of our processes, but at a very, very high level of doing it. So where a lot of bars were made strictly by hand, today we put the grooves in. It's still a precision groove, but we put it in with a CNC machine as opposed to a manual process. Depends on what kind of bars they're making. All the long bars are still done by hand.
Hmm.
All of the carving bars are still done by hand. But for example, rescue bars are done on a CNC. We put the groove in that way. We still flame harden everything. We don't do any induction hardening. We
Hmm.
flame harden because it's gentler and goes deeper, so the bars last longer. And we're able to still get our hardness up to 50 rock, or pardon me, 60 Rockwell on the rails. That's a very important number because the bottom of the tie straps are 55.
Mm-hmm.
We believe wear out the chain, not the bar. Chain
Yeah,
is relatively
totally.
cheap, and bars aren't.
Yeah.
Expensive. So that's sort of our philosophy. Um, and anyway, as you'll see in the process, there's a bunch of stuff that we do that simply isn't done by the mass merchants. For example, we don't paint our bars. We put a gunmetal finish because we want to show off that beautiful steel. We don't want to cover it up with a bunch of powder coat.
No,
Yeah.
I loved your logoing, by the way, on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that the labor challenge. Things are shifting now. We're getting more people coming back to being interested in factory work and making a career of being what we call a master barman.
Well, that is an interest. That's
Yeah.
an interesting concept because, as you said, that hasn't been the case. When have you found? Why is that? Is there
Well,
certain?
I think it's because they've discovered that not everybody can sit in front of a computer and make a living.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think also the message is getting across that artificial intelligence, in other words, artificial means not real, but anyway, artificial intelligence is replacing a lot of, for example, call center jobs.
Yeah.
Are being replaced. So that environment where you get to sit in an office or maybe even work from home is getting smaller and smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's not by choice, but if you want to make a living, you might have to get your hands dirty again.
Yeah. Speaking of hands dirty,
Mm-hmm.
the next topic is an interesting one because I know you filed a brief to Parliament over the 25% tariffs, and you mentioned you have 40% of your businesses down into the United States.
Yeah.
Where does that stand now, and how are the current trade tensions affecting you?
Well, fortunately, we were deemed to be 100% CUSMA compliant.
Excellent.
So because of that, CUSMA or USMCA, because of that, there are no duties on our chainsaw bars going into the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that has helped. What has hurt is the tariffs on lumber coming out of British Columbia going into the United States, which
Yes.
has served to make it very difficult for the logging companies in British Columbia to operate. So the brief that we wrote, and the brief was originally written, so you understand, back in 2016, the first time the Trump administration came in and put in the tariffs. We thought for sure that the steel tariff would apply to us. And when the list of all of the products came out, lo and behold, saw chain, for example, was on that list as being a steel-derived product, but chainsaw bars were not.
Fabulous.
Yeah. Now, maybe that's because one of the world's largest producers of chainsaw bars is an American company located in Guelph, Ontario. No names mentioned, but I don't know. But anyway, we were fortunate that we were not affected by the tariffs. So our product goes in duty-free into the United States.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
It took a while, I guess, to try to get that compliance.
Well, we were compliant without even knowing we were compliant.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of going through and getting the certifications and so on that we were compliant.
Excellent. Wow.
Yeah.
So yours is a family business, and if my research is correct, Rose is in HR.
Yeah, my wife Rose looks after all of our HR, and she also does all of our design work. She's fully conversant in AutoCAD. She had a degree in horticulture and did landscape design, which is where she learned how to do all the AutoCAD stuff. Little did she know when she was designing gardens that I would segue or out of that into chainsaw bar design. So she looks after that, the accounts payable, the HR, that type of thing. Our youngest daughter, Ashley, is our operations manager. She looks after all of, once the order comes in, it's given to her, and she makes sure that it gets built and gets shipped out on time. And I look after, the big picture stuff, and the marketing and the sales. And for example, managing Mosier, managing Kate Media, looking after that type of stuff, and making sure there's enough money in the bank to pay the bills.
You got to love family business. It's
most times.
Yeah.
We have an unusual corporate structure. My wife is the vice president of everything, and the president reports to the vice president of everything. So,
I think that's the way it works in our house too. And as you know, we're a family business, so it's the same
Yes,
sort of thing. We get that. So,
yeah.
So after 27 plus years of owning Canon, what are you proudest of? Like, what's left to achieve with your company?
Well, achievement is, in my opinion, the key to happiness. I remember being a very young boy, maybe grade 5 or 6, and I got an A. And I'll tell you, I achieved something, and it made me very happy. That taught me that, if you work hard, you learn to do something, you produce something, that's an achievement, and you'll feel good when you achieve stuff. So that's why I'm 75 years old, and I'm still set on achieving stuff. So it's making me happy. So I'll keep doing it as long as it continues to make me happy.
So that's the plan. Just keep going.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody walks in here with a checkbook and says, "Hey, Billy, yeah, I'll listen."
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But most days, I mean, there are days where you shake your head and say, "What the heck am I doing here?" But most times, when you get that great feedback from a customer telling you, your bar really is the best bar, bar none, man, that just lifts you up and makes you feel great.
That's the A.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's really super exciting first of all, because we're of the same vintage, but to be able to share some thoughts or stories about your sort of history in the past and your achievements.
Yeah.
And it's exciting because we want to be able to profile others like you, and you're really a visionary for others that are wanting to do business. So thank
you for saying that. I don't know if I'm necessarily the vision you want to be thinking of,
but well, it's just wanted to thank you for that, and I'm hoping we can take this and maybe just go take a tour of your of where the word actually happens out there.
Okay, sure, we can do that.
But in advance, thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Okay,
it's been
Brian.
a real pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, well, it's been a real pleasure reconnecting with your family business, because, oh gosh, I'm going to say it was probably in the 80s. Through Wayne LeBlanc.
Yes.
Yeah.
Original owner of Canswe.
That's right.
Yes.
That we first got introduced to Canswe, providing rain gear to the fallers at some of our camps. Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's right. So it goes back a long way.
It does. We go back a long way. Thanks very much, Bill.
Okay, very good.